Sourabh Gupta is an Asia-Pacific International Relations Policy Specialist at the Institute for China-American Studies. I asked him for his thoughts on President Xi Jinping's trip, his speech at Davos, and the contrast between the Chinese leader and the incoming U.S. president.
I thought President Xi Jinping laid out a very inspirational idea of how far China itself has come in terms of going through difficult times and now being a country which can actually dream of a prosperous future. And in that context, he was laying out an opportunity for other countries, even advanced countries which are going through a difficult period in their political life, that through structural reforms and through a more forward-looking approach, they too can solve their problems, and that all countries can join together and be good global citizens and tackle international challenges.
This kind of stepping out on the world stage, the Belt and Road Initiative, the AIIB, all these initiatives in China going in much the direction you used to see the U.S. go in as the U.S. retreats. Talk to me about this dynamic.
One of the aspects of this dynamic is, which has facilitated the things that President Xi has talked about and is headed towards, is that China is at that phase in its development where outward investment and going out is the spirit of the times, as one would say, for China. It has obviously done a lot of globalization-led growth in China, but at the same time, Chinese investment overseas is still a new phenomenon, and it is now taking shape in a much larger way. So President Xi has an interest in consolidating the international economic rules that exist today in the trade and in the international investment sphere. One more point I'd like to really elaborate on with regard to President Xi's focus on global interdependence. It might be easy to say that, Trump is going and America is going in a more isolationist or protectionist direction, and so it's easy for President Xi to be seen as being very globalist and multilateralist. But the fact of the matter is, President Xi was the chair of the G20 in Hangzhou this year. President Obama was president at that time. A lot of the thinking was that Mrs. Clinton would be the next president, so there would be continuity. And back in Hangzhou itself, President Xi was talking about let's look forward from a long-term perspective. Let's give up on thinking in terms of a crisis management mentality, in terms of a long-term approach to managing global problems. So President Xi has been consistent all along in terms of his vision. It is unfortunately on the American side, and I wouldn't just say American side, in the Western world and in the advanced economies, that there has been this reaction against global interdependence, against international trade, and against immigration, which is driven by hollowing out of the manufacturing base and inequality and many other domestic ills. So President Xi has been forward-looking for a period of time, much before even President Trump came into office. President-elect Trump won the election. And so we shouldn't be making that distinction too stark. He would have anyway gone this direction, even with Mrs. Clinton as president.